Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about the most iconic football card set from when I was a kid and the cards that I want right now in PSA 10. Stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Thanks very much for joining us today. I'm excited for this video. I'm going to be talking about a football card set from my childhood that this is actually kind of more of a football card collecting video as it is an investing video. There is an investment component to it, but to be honest, a lot of these cards are just ones that I want for my personal collection, and if they go up over time, which I anticipate they will, then that's just kind of an added bonus. But just to give you some background, when I was a kid, when I was 8 years old, the 1989 Score football set came out, and I just remember these cards. First off, demand was really high. The look of the cards was awesome. There's the big helmet for each team in the lower right corner. They were just distinctive and different from what we had seen from sets in the past. Their design was just really cool. And you see they're actually even remaking a lot of them today too for current players, just because it is an iconic set. When I was younger, I was 8, 9, 10 years old. I remember my local card shop had these packs. They were $4 to $5 a pack back in the late 80s, which for me as a kid, it was just too much for me to be able to handle. A lower to middle class family, my parents would not buy them for me. So I was left to kind of just, be extremely jealous of my friends that were able to get a hold of these. I remember owning a Bubby Brister card, a single I had to buy at my local card shop because I couldn't afford to buy the packs, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Just owning, a few of the singles, and I couldn't afford to buy the Barry Sanders and the Troy Aikmans and the cards there. They were selling raw back then because there wasn't grading companies for $50, $75, $100 each, which, back then was a lot of money. Now still for those raw cards is a lot of money. So kind of gives you an idea of the landscape of what it looked like in the late 80s and early 90s. Okay, so I'm on a journey to get these cards in PSA 10. I picked out 5 cards and an honorable mention as well, so stay tuned throughout the whole video to see. But I want to go through, the first one is the most iconic from the set, arguably. It's Barry Sanders rookie card. This card is one that most people know, even if they're not big football card collectors. One thing that was cool about these cards too is yeah, you had action shots like the Michael Irvin card, his rookie card, but a lot of them were just, the photos. They were rookie photos of these guys as they were younger, as they were rookies. So it's fun to just kind of look back at what they looked like back then, and I don't know, it just adds a certain element to the card. But Barry Sanders is, he's not just a Hall of Famer, he's arguably the best running back of all time. He retired after only 10 years in the league, 10, 11 seasons. Most believe that he would have beat Emmitt Smith if he had had the longevity, but he chose to walk away from the game. It's debatable as to why and how he did that. Part of it was the Lions not choosing to go and be more of a winning organization in his mind, and the other, I believe, was just the how it beat up on his body and being able to have a good life moving forward after football. So that card is my number one that I want, PSA 10. It's showing, I looked at recent eBay listings, sold listings. It goes from anywhere to $350 to $450, with a high of $613 on Probstein. That was a recent auction. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one. It's a little bit higher than where I wanted to be, and this card has surged. I don't know if it's from basketball card, the basketball season, being suspended and people moving over to football cards, but that's more on the high end. I remember a year ago you could have one of these for about $300, so I'm going to keep my eye on that one. The next card would be Thurmond Thomas's rookie card. Thurmond Thomas, most people don't know this, but he was with Barry Sanders at Oklahoma State. He was actually there, I believe, a year prior. Barry Sanders was coming in essentially to take Thurmond's spot. But Thurmond will explain it that Barry was the one that pushed him, to really work his tail off. And Thurmond Thomas, he doesn't get as much credit, nowhere near as much credit as Barry Sanders from that time period, but Thurmond was a deadly out of the backfield running back. He was kind of the modern day, he was the pass catching back. I would say he was one of the first ones. You guys tell me if I'm missing this, but he was that time period's Marshall Faulk or the Alvin Kamara, guys catching the ball out of the backfield, Le'Veon Bell, just as well as they can run it. So he was a dual threat, extremely dangerous, and helped lead the Bills to 4 Super Bowl appearances. So he's an iconic player, and this was another card where it was very expensive back in the late 80s buying it as a single, but I'm going to try to get it now. They're only about 45 to 50 bucks, which I think is really good value, especially long-term value. I think that just holding these over time, not that it's my goal necessarily as a collector, but there is an investment element to it, and so I believe this one will go up over time significantly. Next is the Troy Aikman rookie. This is one that most people, again, are aware of, and the Cowboys won 3 Super Bowls together with Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. Troy Aikman, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's a great announcer now. I just feel like he's a good investment long term because he's well known. He's got a great image. Just not much to dislike about the guy unless you just don't like his broadcasting skills, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but the Troy Aikman 89 score rookie is an iconic card. Recent sale prices are anywhere from $148 to $179. Next on my list is Troy's buddy Michael Irvin, the guy that was catching all of his touchdown passes, or a lot of them. Him and Alvin Harper, I remember, were a deadly combination. But Michael Irvin, another guy that, he's a Hall of Fame player. He was amazing at his position. And back then he was, T.O. before T.O. He was that big receiver, the possession receiver that was he just made plays. He was a deep threat as well. I mean, he was an all-around athlete. His rookie card can be had in PSA 10 recently for anywhere from $50 to about $80. So I'll be looking to pick up one of those here fairly soon. Next on my list is Deion Primetime Sanders. Anybody that knows football knows Deion. He was one of the first, if not the first, dual sport players that really did it well, where he just played really well for the Braves and then would jump on a plane and play for the Falcons. It was actually kind of wild. There's a documentary on him, maybe A Football Life or 30 for 30, but ESPN's got a good documentary on him, just going through what his day-to-day was like, playing 2 sports, and it was incredible. He's an iconic player, and his rookies recently are going anywhere from $125 to $189 PSA 10. My honorable mention for this set is Derrick Thomas. God rest his soul, he's passed on, but this guy was an absolute force back when I was a kid. I remember watching football games, and Derrick Thomas could not be stopped. He was a linebacker for the Chiefs, or defensive end for the Chiefs. Excellent player. And so he was one where I just couldn't afford him as a kid, and it's a cool card. It's a cool looking card. And PSA 10s are anywhere from $44 to $65. So you see a lot of these cards are very affordable. The print run, it wasn't a huge print run for the junk wax era from the 90s, late 80s, but it's still, in comparison to today's, they were still a fairly high print run. So these are available for sure, but you see all the Hall of Fame players in this set, and it's incredible. For football, if you're looking for a concentration of Hall of Famers, I mean, 89 is got loads. It's a great set to have. So check this out. This is one that I'm going to be looking at. It's a nostalgia thing for me, from my childhood. I'd like to hear stories. If there's anyone like me that was into 89 score football or couldn't afford it, or is looking at it now, as an adult, I want to hear your stories, your nostalgia stories. I love it. So anyway, stick around, guys. We'll have more videos. These are our daily videos. Subscribe, please, and you'll get notifications as soon as they come out. Thanks again, and have a good night.